coming to this, and today the Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956, Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956 and its rules 1957, right? Where we divide in this chapter into 5 categories: introduction, second category is stock exchange, third category is relating to the securities listing and delisting, fourth is the powers, and fifth is others, right? What are the 5 categories? Introduction, stock exchange, listing, securities, and powers and others. And coming to the introduction, we have the following: the definitions and non-applicability, corporatization, demutualization. In definitions, we have 4: spot delivery contract, ready delivery contract, options, derivatives. And coming to the next part, that is stock exchange. Stock exchange, we have recognition of stock exchange, withdrawal of recognition of stock exchange, membership, what are the eligibility for membership of a recognized stock exchange, and what are the rules, particular rules are there, and also the members not to act as principals. In securities, we have a listing of securities, delisting of securities, and clearing house, clearing corporation, and delisting grounds, right? And coming to the powers we further divide into 3 subcategories: powers of central government, powers of stock exchange, powers of SEBI. In powers of central government, we have 3 powers: power to supersede the governing body of the stock exchange, power of central government to suspend the business of the stock exchange, power of central government to amend the rules. And we in powers of stock exchange, we have 2 powers: power of stock exchange to amend our rules. The next power also is same: powers of recognized stock exchange to make bylaws. In powers of SEBI, we have 2 powers: powers of SEBI to make or amend bylaws, and powers of central government SEBI for calling or periodical returns or directions inquiries, right? In this only one power is common, that is power to make or amend rules. That power is common, and the same, that everything is also same in that particular section, right? And coming to others is very important. We have additional or trading for title of dividends, composition of offences, and penalties. Penalties in the SCRA are similar to SEBI, but few penalties are different. We will discuss the penalties, right? These are 5 categories, and we will go one by one, right? And coming to our next introduction point. Introduction, we have objective of the act. Objective of the act is very simple. We can write on your one. That is not that much important. Non-applicability of the act. Non-applicability of the act is a government. This act shall not be applied to the following particular companies. There are 5 companies are there, like 5 things are there, like government, RBI, local authority, any corporation set up by the special law, a person who is effecting the transaction with any person, refer to the above, refer to the class A to D, means that is government, and RBI, local authority, corporation. Like there are 5: government, RBI, local authority, corporation set up by special law, any person effecting the transactions with the government, RBI, local authority, corporation. And there is one residuary point: any class of contract, means the central government has a power to specify this contract, in the particular contract is SCRA is not applicable, then also that SCRA is not applicable. What are the non-applicability of this act? In the transaction between the government, RBI, local authority, corporation set up by special law, any person effecting the transaction with the 4 above, and any class of contracts as may be specified by the government, that is central government, in the official gazette, right? For example, there is an RECL, that is Rural Electrification Corporation of India Limited, and NHA, National Highway Authority of India. If that these are the corporations by special law, for these also the SCRA is not applicable, right? And and coming to the definitions part. The definitions, we have 4 definitions, that is a spot delivery contract, options, derivatives, and a ready delivery contracts. Coming to the spot delivery contract. Spot delivery contract has 2 contracts, it means a contract with the following contract: the contract which provides for delivery of securities and payment of price of securities. Means 2 things. First one is delivery of securities and payment for the price of securities on the actual, either on the day of contract or the next day. Means the delivery of securities or the payment shall be on the day of contract or the next day. And the second contract under the spot delivery contract is a contract in which it is transferred by the depository from one beneficial account to the another beneficial account, another beneficial owner. That is right. The first one is delivery of securities and payment of prices of securities either on the same day or the next day, and the second one is the contract in which the securities are transferred the depository from one beneficial owner to the another beneficial owner. But here is a provision is there. The provision is for the first point, that is the delivery of securities and payment of price. If that is taken place through post the following time period, shall be excluded. The parties to the contract do not reside in the same town or locality, means the 2 parties are in different towns. That securities delivery and payment has been made through post, then that particular period shall be excluded, right? These are the definition of spot delivery contract. And coming to the options, you all know options in our derivative chapters in SFM. Option in securities means a contract for say purchase or sale. That purchase is a holder, sale is a writer. Purchase or sale of a right to buy, that is a call option, and right to sell, that is a put option, or right to buy and sell, you can both options, call and put option to same time. And securities in future, that is in future. For the definition of option means securities means a contract for purchase of sale or right to buy or right to sell, right to buy and sell securities in future. And options in securities shall also include a tezi mandi, a gali put, a call, put and call. Tezi means bull, mandi means bear, gali means normal trade business operations, right? This is the definition of option. And coming to the definition of derivatives, in derivatives we have 4 types of definitions. The first one is security rate, the security which has derived its value from the debt instrument, share, loan, risk, instrument, or contract for difference. That is one point. And the security, and the next one is the contract which derives its value from the price index prices underlying security. These are the 2 important points. First one is which derives value from the debt instruments, shares, loan. Second one is derives value from the index prices of securities and underlying security. And third one is commodity derivative, that is we already know, that is for gold derivatives and etc. and some other derivatives also there, and commodity derivatives. And such other, the fourth point is residuary. Such other instruments have been declared by the central government to be derivatives. What are the 4 types of derivatives? First derivative is security contract derived value from the instrument, debt instrument, share, loan, risk instrument, or contract for difference. And the second is a contract which derives its value from the prices or index of prices or underlying security. Third one is commodity, and fourth one is residuary. Right? And coming to our last, that is definition point, the ready delivery contract. Ready delivery contract means the same contract as a spot delivery for the delivery of the goods, and payment of price. Means, right? Ready delivery contract means delivery of the goods and payment of price thereof either immediately or within such period shall not exceeding 11 days from the date of contract. Right? Here the delivery and payment shall be happen immediately, or some time period is there, that is 11 days time period is there, that shall be subject to the conditions issued by the central government, right? And central government may also issue some conditions that the period shall not be extended with the mutual consent of the parties, right? And there is a provision in the particular section. If there are 2 provisions, if these 2 provisions have happened, then that particular contract shall not be treated as ready delivery contract. What are the 2 things we'll discuss, right? Provided that where any such contract is performed either wholly or in part by realization of any sum of money, the difference between the contract rate and the settlement rate or clearing rate as the rate of offsetting the contract, means as on the date of entering the contract and the period of settlement, the difference amount they have settled without delivery of the goods, then it is not a ready delivery contract. Or else by any other means whatsoever, and the result of which actual delivery of the good is dispensed, means the actual delivery is not happening but they have settled in some other manner. In that case also it is not a ready delivery contract. Right? This is the definition of ready delivery contract. And coming to the definition of corporatization, demutualization. Corporatization, the name itself suggests it is a company. Corporatization is a succession of recognized stock exchange being a body of individuals or society registered in the Security Society Registration Act 1860. Previously the BSC was a BOI, that is a body of individuals. The corporation has came into picture and it has turned it into a company, right? The succession of recognized stock exchange being a body of individuals or society registered on the society's respective act by another stock exchange being a company. Incorporated means the main purpose of incorporating the company, converting that corporation is for assisting ARC, that is assisting, regulating and controlling of the business of buying, selling, dealing of securities and dealing of securities carried on by such individual society. This is a corporatization. Corporatization is succession. And coming to next one, that is our demutualization. Demutualization is a segregation of what? Segregation of ownership and management from trading rights of the members of recognized stock exchange in according to the scheme approved by the SEBI. What are the main purpose of this demutualization? The main thing is to prohibit insider trading, right? And next coming to that is stock exchange. We have recognition of stock exchange, withdrawal of recognition of stock exchange, and members of stock exchange, that is members of stock exchange eligibility, and members not act as principals, right? And coming to the first point, that is recognition of stock exchange. The stock exchange which is desirous of recognized shall make an application to the central government. The central government, within the prescribed form and prescribed fees according to the Securities Contract Regulation Rules 1957, they have to make the prescribed form, that is Form A, and the prescribed fees is 500. It also, the application shall also be accompanied by the rules and bylaws of the recognized stock exchange. What are the rules and bylaws of the recognized stock exchange shall consider? It shall consider the governing body, means For company we will say body corporate, that is board of directors, but here stock exchange we will say governing body. The governing body, its constitution and powers of the governing body, in that rules we have to describe, and in that also rules we have to describe the following, that is governing body constitution, powers and manner transacting the business, and powers and duties of office bearers, the employees of the stock exchange, and the procedure relating to the admission, qualification, suspension, expulsion, readmission of members, and also whether the firm can be member of the recognized stock exchange, that also shall be maintained. If yes, the rules and manner of appointment of the authorized representatives and clerks shall also be maintained in our rules and bylaws, which had for the in the application form which is made to the central government. And central government, if it satisfies, it can make inquiries, and also it can ask for additional information on the recognized stock exchange as and when deemed fit. Right? The central government is satisfied. The central government has to satisfy the three things. The central government must satisfy the bylaws and the rules and regulations contain the prescribed particulars. Then it shall ensure fair dealings and protect the investors. What is that? Central government has to satisfy three things. The first one is it is satisfied that the bylaws and rules are the prescribed particulars, and the central government is satisfied that the stock exchange is willing to comply the conditions of as central government impose after consulting the governing body. Means what are the conditions imposed by the central government that stock exchange is willing to classify if CG is satisfied with that thing. The second thing, and the third thing is in the public interest and interest of trade. What are the three things the CG has to satisfy? The bylaws and rules of particulars, prescribed particulars, and willing to comply. The stock exchange is willing to comply, and public interest and interest of trade. Right? And also what are the conditions for recognition? Conditions for recognition are as simple as that the central government may grant the recognition subject to the conditions as the central government may deem fit, including the following. Means the central government will see the following things of recognized stock exchange: the qualification of members, it will see, and the manner in which the contracts are willing or shall be entered into and enforced, how the contracts are going to be entered and how they are going to be enforced and implemented between the members, the maintenance of accounts by the members, what are the accounts shall be maintained by the members, and audit of the members by the recognized stock exchange, and appointment of representation of the central government at least 3 on the governing body. That the 4 conditions for recognition, that is qualification of members, manner in which the contracts are entered, and third one is the maintenance of accounts and audit of the members' accounts. Fourth one is appointment of representatives of central government, at least 3 in the governing body of stock exchange. Right? If all conditions are satisfied, then the central government can recognize the stock exchange. Then it can pass a publication order. The publication means in SCRA always means in four places. The publication is official gazette of central government, the publication official gazette of state government, and the publication of order in the newspaper, that is English newspaper, and one in vernacular newspaper. Right? Even though application has been made, if not, the conditions are not satisfied, central government has the power to refuse the application for recognition. Right? Before refusal of recognition in our India, that is principle of natural justice shall prevail, that is opportunity of being heard, that is audio alternate pattern shall be given to the recognized section, and also for reasons for refusing also shall be given in written form. Right? This is the recognition of stock exchange. Right? And coming to our next one, that is withdrawal of recognition of stock exchange in the public interest. This is very important. Withdrawal means if the SEBI and central government feels that in the public interest or interest of trade, these are the 2 points very important. If the SEBI and central government is opinion that the withdrawal of recognition is necessary in the public interest or interest of trade, these are the 2 points. On this basis, the SEBI can issue notice. The SEBI or central government can issue notice to the governing body of stock exchange expressing intention to withdraw the recognition of granted to the stock exchange. Right? For the 2 grounds, that is public interest and the interest of trade. In this, the notice shall also contain the reasons for withdrawal of recognition, and also in our India, that is principle of natural justice always prevails. The opportunity of being heard shall be given to the recognized stock exchange, and also after getting the representative from the stock exchange, the central government still feels that withdrawal of recognition is satisfied, then it can withdraw its recognition. Right? It can be done with publication of order in the official gazette. We all know official gazette in the state, official gazette in the central government, and one vernacular newspaper and one English newspaper. Like what is the effect of withdrawal? This is very important. We have seen withdrawal, the grounds, and now withdrawal effects. The withdrawal recognition of stock exchange effects are if there are contracts outstanding as on the date of withdrawal, then the SEBI or central government may form some rules as it deems fit to endure those contracts, or the contracts which have already been rendered, which have already been entered into before the day of notification, then such contracts validity is not affected by this withdrawal of recognition of stock exchange. Right? And coming to one more thing, that is one more important thing, as we have discussed, that corporation and demutualization is mandatory. If any stock exchange has not followed the particular rules that is given by the SEBI or central government regarding the corporation and demutualization, then also withdrawal of that stock exchange shall be passed. The order will be passed in the same that is official gazette in the state government, central government, newspapers, English vernacular, and also the contacts which have entered before the date of notification is validity is not affected, same like as with our withdrawal effects, right. And coming to that is qualification of membership. We divide this qualification of membership into two categories: qualification of membership for individuals and qualification of membership for companies, right. First we are going to discuss the qualification of membership for the individuals. This is very important for examination purpose. The question may be expected. These the rules have been contained in Rule 8, right. And coming to the qualification of members for individuals, there are two things. The first one is no person. The first one is like disqualification, and second one is the qualification. The first point is Rule 8(1), Rule 8 subclass 1. No person shall be eligible to be elected as a member if the persons have the following 8 qualifications, then he is not eligible for the membership, right. What are the 8 qualifications we will discuss in this? Means the person is aged less than 21 years, means for appointment of membership the age shall be 21 years or more, and he is adjudged as a bankrupt or insolvent even after obtaining the final discharge. Means once he has declared as an insolvent, then he is not eligible for his lifetime to be a member of the recognized stock exchange. This is the second point. The third point is component with his creditors unless he has paid 16 annas in rupee. Component, we already know what is component in his creditors, because there is an exception is this: unless he has paid 16 annas in rupees. 16 annas means 1 rupee. Unless he has paid the 1 rupee for 1 rupee, then he is not disqualified. There are three disqualifications. The age is less than 21 years. He is adjudged as insolvent, bankrupt. Component is creditors, and the next one is expelled by the recognized stock exchange and is declared as a defaulter. Declared as a defaulter by the recognized stock exchange and expelled by the recognized stock exchange, and has committed an offence involving fraud or dishonesty and previously refused admission to membership. Means that person has already made an application for membership of the recognized stock exchange, and that application has been refused and 1 year has not been elapsed. This is 7th condition. Coming to the 8th condition: engaged as a principal or employee in any business other than that of securities or commodity derivatives. Means that person is engaged in a business as a principal or employee other than the securities or commodity services, then also the person is not qualified to be a member. But there is an exception to the particular business point. There are 2 exceptions are there. If he is engaged as a broker or agent not involving any personal financial liability, means that person has engaged as a broker or agent of any other business other than the securities or the commodity derivatives, in which he doesn't have the personal financial liability, and at the time of admission, means at the time of admission the membership he undertakes to sever his connection with such business. Means here the sever means he detaches from the business, right. What is the 2 exceptions? What is the exception? What is the first condition? Engaged as a principal or employee in any business other than that of securities or commodity market. If any person is engaging in a business other than that of securities and commodity market, he is disqualified. But there is an exception is if he is acted as a broker or engagement in which his personal financial liability involving, right, he is not involving any personal financial liability, and at the time of admission he has severed his connection, means he had detached his connection from the business, then he can be eligible. What are the 8 conditions? Age is less than, bankrupt, component is creditors, expelled, defaulter, refused appointment, 1 year, dishonesty, fraud, and business. 2 exceptions, right. And coming to the next thing, that is a qualifications. If a member of individual want to be the member of stock exchange, then we will see the first 8 categories. If he falls under 8 categories, then he is not eligible member. If he passes those 8 categories, then we will go to the next 3 categories. What are the 3 categories? The qualifications for membership to be contained in the rules of recognized stock exchange, means if he has worked more than 2 years or more, means that person shall have been worked 2 years or more as two things: as a partner of the member, or as an authorized assistant or authorized clerk or remissor or apprentice to the member. Means the person shall have 2 years or more working experience to become eligible for membership of the recognized stock exchange. Or if he agrees, means that person doesn't have any experience and he agrees at the time of admission, he agrees for the work for the minimum period of 2 years. He agrees at the time of admission for minimum period of 2 years as a partner or representative member with another member who already the member, and enters into bargain the floor of recognized stock exchange not in his own name but in the name of the such member. First, at least he should have 2 years experience, or if he doesn't have experience, he has to agree to act as a member, partner or representative member with another member, and he has to enter into transactions not in his own name but in the name of the other member, right. These are 2 conditions. The third condition is he succeeds to be established the business of deceased or retiring member who is his father, uncle, brother, any other person who is in the opinion of the governing body a close relative. Means he doesn't have 2x experience and he is not agreed, but also the other some member is there and the member is deceased or has been retired. In that place a new member is coming, this person is coming. This person, if he is retiring, if he is getting the business from his uncle, brother or father, then he can be eligible for membership of stock exchange. And also if the governing body opines that any other relation is there, close relative, then also he can be member of recognized stock exchange. There is one provision in this particular qualification wala point, that is applicable to these 3 points. The provision is provided that the rules of the recognized stock exchange may authorize the governing body to waive the compliance with any of the foregoing conditions if a person seeking admission is an expert of means, integrity, standing, experience of the business in sector is considered by the governing body to be otherwise qualified for membership. See, what is this provision is saying, like, see, the person has passed the 8 disqualification criteria and also he has come into the now 3 categories. Even if the person is not satisfied with the 3 conditions, any of the 3 conditions, then also if the governing body thinks that this person has the integrity, standing, experience, qualification of the business in securities and commodity, that is right, then if the governing body of that stock exchange thinks this person has all these things, then the governing body has the power to waive off these 3 compliances. This is the regarding the membership of what individual, right. And coming to our next one, that is the eligibility of companies to be elected as membership of the companies. We will divide this into 2 categories. The first category is section 322 of the 1956 Companies Act, that is our directors which is having unlimited liability, and second category is general our companies and the firms and the LLPs, right. And coming to the first category, if a firm has a company, the compliance of section 322 of the Companies Act 1956, and the eligibility is the majority of the directors of such company shall be shareholders of such company, and also the majority of the directors of such company shall be members of the stock exchange, and the directors of such company having ultimate liability in such company, right. These are the conditions. What are the main conditions? Majority of the directors of such company shall be the shareholders of such company, and the majority of the directors of such company shall be the members of recognized stock exchange. Then only the company can become the member of the recognized stock exchange. See, if any SEBI has made some recommendations to the governing body of stock exchange, then the following, that majority of the conditions shall not be seen. These particular things. When the SEBI can make recommendations for governing the body, there are so many banks. The governing body of recognized stock exchange shall relax the conditions and admit as a member the following corporations, body, corporates, companies and institutions. After getting recommendations from whom? After getting recommendations from SEBI, that is our Securities Exchange Board of India. There are some around 12 body, corporate, corporations, companies, institutions. We will discuss this 12. IFCA, IDBI, LIC, GIC, UTI, NHB, ICICI, Exim Bank, NABARD, any bank included in the second schedule to the RBI Act 1984. In this only 2 we don't know, that is IFCA and NHB. NHB is the National Housing Bank and IFCA is the Industrial Finance Corporation, right? Industrial Finance Corporation Limited. Corporation of India. IFCI, IDBI, LIC, GIC, UTI, National Housing Bank, NHB, ICICI, Exim Bank, Export Import Bank of India, and NABARD Bank, that is National Agricultural Bank and Agricultural Development Bank, and any bank and the second schedule of RBI Act 1934. For these banks, the majority of directors wala point is not applicable if the recommendation has been by the SEBI to the governing body. And coming to our next category of the companies, that is the companies, firm or LLP want to become a member of a recognized company, that is general companies other than the 322 company, that is section 12 of the Companies Act, previous Companies Act 1956, means the company undertakes to comply with the financial requirements and norms as in respect of the SEBI. Means the company is willing to comply with the financial requirement norms, and the directors of the company are not disqualified being the recognized stock members of the recognized stock company. Means we have to say the individual members of the directors. If it is a partnership firm, we have to say the partners and designated partners are not disqualified to be the members of the recognized stock exchange. We have seen the conditions, right? 8 conditions plus 3 conditions and 1 exception provision. For the directors are not disqualified. If it is a firm, the partners are not disqualified. Designated partner is not disqualified. Then also one more condition is there for the companies that forms LLP. One more condition is the eligibility for companies to be elected as a recognized stock exchange are as follows: not less than 2 directors if it is a company, not less than 2 partners or LLP if it is a partnership firm of the company has a possesses minimum 2 years of experience in SPI. SPI is in dealing securities, in portfolio management and in investment consultants, right? SPI, securities, portfolio, investments. And also these directors and partners are there, right? These directors and partners of this company or firm had not held offices of directors or as a partner or member in any other company which had the member of the recognized stock exchange and had been declared defaulter or expelled by the recognized stock exchange. is very simple. See, for example, one company is there, in the directors are there, and partnership firm is there, and partners are there. These two company and partnership firm has want to enter as a partner, as member of the recognized stock exchange. Then we have to see the condition as like this: the directors and partners of this company, or the directors are partners, or the directors are parts of another company, that another company is a member of the recognized stock exchange, and that another company has been declared default or expelled by the recognized stock exchange, then this company, our company and our partnership firm is not eligible for members of the recognized stock exchange, right? And coming to our next, that is in members, that is stock exchange members, last point, that is members not to act as principals. No member of the recognized stock exchange shall enter into any contract as a principal. There is an exception is there. The exceptions, there are around 5 exceptions are there, right? A member may enter into contract as a principal in the following cases. What are the exceptions? For example, the first case, a member has been entered into a contract as a principal. In that contract, he has disclosed, makes a disclose that he is acting as a principal, and he obtains written consent from the other party to whom he is entered into contract in writing regarding the same. And second condition is where the member has make a disclosure in the contract that is acting as a principal, but here in this case that written consent is not obtained. Means the consent has been obtained but not in written. The consent obtained of the other person otherwise than in writing, and after entering the contract, the obtains a confirmation of such person consent within 3 days of the contract. Means here the time period is 3 days is there after entering the contract, then he can act as a principal. And the third condition is a member may close outstanding contract entered into by the member with any such person making disclosure that he is act as a member. If any outstanding contract is there, in that contract he shall disclose that he is acting as a principal, and he can close the contract. And spot delay contracts, he can act as a principal, and a member may enter into contract as a principal with any other member. What are the 5 exceptions? Basically, in general rule, no member can enter into contract as a principal. The exceptions are: a member can enter into contract as a principal if he discloses and he has obtained a consent in written. And second, he discloses he is acting as a member, and he has obtained the consent not in written form but in any other form. He has 3 days time period. And spot delay contracts, and he can enter into any other member. And also, if any outstanding contract is there, he can close out the contract without after disclosing that he is acting as a principal. Right? These are the exceptions of a membership. We have completed our second point, and coming to our next point, that is the listing and delisting of securities, clearing corporation, and delisting grounds. Right, and coming to that is listing of securities. Listing of securities, if any company wants to list its securities in the stock exchange, then the company has to make an application to the stock exchange for listing of securities, and it has to follow the listing agreement conditions. Right, listing agreement conditions it has to comply. Here we have LODR conditions, and say there is a listing obligation disclosure, right, regulations. Every company which makes application to SEBI for listing of company shall comply with the LODR regulations. And also that is our listing agreement. Here it is, but here it is LODR amended. And refusal to, if the stock exchange has shown any refusal for listing of securities of a company after making an application, then the stock exchange shall make reasons for such a refusal also. Right? Then the company thinks that that order of the stock exchange is aggrieved, it can go to SAT, that is Securities Appellate Tribunal. The structure is here the same as SEBI, that is General Stock Exchange or SEBI or central government has orders. Then you can go to SAT, then we can go to Supreme Court. Right? Here we can go to Supreme Court within 15 days. The time limit has saying within 15 days of the receipt of an order of refusal of stock exchange stating the reasons for not listing the securities of a company which made application to stock exchange for listing and complying the listing agreement. The time period is 15 days. And next one is 15 days from the receipt of the order of the stock exchange or the expiry of time specified some time after that expiry. 15 days is time period is there. And also extension, we can all know there is an extension period for every SAT. The extension period here is generally unlimited, but here it is restrained to 1 month. The extension may condone the delay in the filing the appeal if the sufficient cause has been shown that within 1 month. The period shall not exceed 1 month. Right? The extension period is only 1 month, and also the sufficient cause shall be shown. Then also procedure adopted at SAT. The procedure adopted at SAT is same. Right? It will give principle of naturalization, the opportunity of being to both the parties, and it will encourage the situation. Endeavor to dispose of appeal within 6 months. Means that here there is a time limit for the disposal of appeal by the appeal to the SAT. That is endeavor to dispose of appeal within 6 months. That is not a mandatory provision. It is a directory. Means that SAT has to dispose the appeal within 6 months. Right? The SAT may set aside the same thing. The SAT may modify, set aside, confirm, CMS. That modify, confirm, modify, set aside, CMS. right? The copies of order of SAT, if the order has been passed, it has to be sent to the parties to the appeal, means the company and the stock exchange, and the stock exchange shall complete the order of the SAT, right? And even though if any person aggrieved by the order of SAT, then it can go. Next alternative available under our judicial system is the Supreme Court. A person aggrieved by the order of SAT may file an appeal to the Supreme Court. The appeal can be filed by only the question of law. The question of fact ends there at SAT. If it is question of law, you can go to Supreme Court. The time limit is same for every Supreme Court. It is 60 days from the date of receipt of order by the aggrieved person, and the extension shall be granted by the Supreme Court showing the sufficient cause. The time extension time period is 60 days. Right. And coming to our, that is a delisting of securities, our next point in that our third limb, it is delisting of securities. The delisting of securities is also same as we have discussed in listing of securities. The recognized stock exchange may delist the securities of a company on the any grounds prescribed under this particular SCR Act 1956 and Rules 1957. Right. The recognized stock exchange, if it thinks that the grounds have been fulfilled, it can delist the securities of a company, right? In our India, the principle of natural justice prevails, that opportunity of being heard shall be given, and also recognized stock exchange shall also make the reasons of such reasons for grounds shall be in written form and give the company opportunity of being heard shall be given. And if any person is agreed, that is, the company has agreed by the order of the recognized stock exchange, then it can go to the SAT within 15 days. The same story from we have discussed in our lot. 1 month time extension is there. 6 months endeavor period for the SAT to dispose of it. If any person has agreed with the SAT also, we can go to Supreme Court. Same 60 days. Question of law, question of fact, same as we have discussed earlier, right? But one thing is the grounds. What are the grounds for delisting of securities? This is very important question. What are the grounds for delisting of securities? The grounds for delisting of securities has been given in rules, right? We'll discuss the rules. What are the rules? What are the grounds under which the company securities can be delisted from the recognized stock exchange if the following rules grounds have been satisfied. The grounds for delisting is prescribed under the Rule 21. Right? We have a shortcut for remembering this. There are around 6 points under these grounds. We have shortcut. We have memory technique. The technique is convicted shareholders address. Convicted shareholders address not found, and he suffered losses and suspension and infrequency. Right? What is the shortcut? Convicted shareholders address not found, and he has suffered losses and suspension and infrequency. Again, what is the technique? Convicted shareholders assets not found, suffered losses and suspension and infrequency. Right? We'll discuss the grounds one by one. The first one is convicted. Convicted, a company means the company whose securities are listed, or the director or the promoter. The company or any of its director or promoter of the company whose securities are listed in the recognized stock exchange has convicted for failure to comply with the SCRA 1956 rules or SEBI Act 1992 or Depositors Act 1996 and rules, regulations, agreements they are made thereunder. Means under these Act they have not complied and they have been convicted. They have been proven guilty, and award of penalty. The award of penalty is more than 1 crore, equal to 1 crore or more than 1 crore. 1 crore or more, that is, or if that director or promoter is imprisoned for 3 years or more, then the particular company securities will be delisted. This is first condition, convicted shareholders. Next one is convicted completed shareholders. Shareholders will go, shareholders of the company, shareholding of the company held by the public has come below the minimum level applicable to the company as per the listing agreements, and the company has failed to raise the public holding to the required level. Means for every recognized company, the certain limit of shareholding shall be held by the public, and that public shareholding has fallen below the limit prescribed by the regulations made by the SEBI or SCRA, and the company has failed to raise that public shareholding within a specified period of time, then the company shares will be delisted. This is second condition, convicted shareholders address. Next one is our address. Address not known. The address of whom? Address, there are 3 points: address not known, and false address, and address has been shifted in contravention of the Act. Okay. What is the first? Address not known. Address not known of whom? Address not known of company, director, promoter, same as we have discussed in the convicted provision. Address not known of a company, a promoter or director are not known, or the false address has been given by the company director or promoter, or the company has changed the registered office in contravention of the rules of the Companies Act 1956 or Companies Act 2013, whichever the Act applies. Right? We have completed 3 points and we have left with 3. Convicted shareholders address not found. Right? That is completed. Suffered losses. He suffered losses, means losses. That is our 4th point. Losses during the preceding 3 consecutive years and negative net. That is the 4th condition. He has that company has suffered continuous losses during the preceding 3 consecutive years, and the net of the company is negative. Then the shares which is issued by the in the recognized stock exchange will be delisted, as this is one of the ground. And coming to the fifth ground, convicted shareholders asset address not found suffer losses, right? And suspension of what? Suspension means that is trading only. Suspension of trading in the securities for more than 6 months or more. If the trading of the securities of the company has been suspended 6 months or more, then also these securities will be delisted. And the last one is infrequency. Securities infrequently traded during the preceding 3 days, means that securities are not frequently traded, means the buy and sell of securities has not done. There is huge time gap between these securities during the preceding 3 years, infrequently traded. Then this is grounds for the delisting, right? And now next one is the clearing corporation. Clearing corporation, before going to clearing corporation, we'll discuss one concept, that is our stock exchange. The stock exchange have two houses, that is recording house and clearing house. Recording house is it will receive the orders, means it will receive the buy order and sell order, and it will be sold to the clearing house for the clearing, the delivery, payment, right things. There are two houses, for one is a recording house and second one is clearing house, right? And now, what is the clearing corporation? Clearing corporation, the name itself says it is a company. Clearing corporation means a company incorporated in the Companies Act 1956 or any other Companies Act, that is, or any other company, present Companies Act 2013. The main purpose of clearing house is three things. What are the three things? The first is periodical settlement of contract and differences thereunder. It will settle the contracts and differences thereunder, and also it is delivery of the and payment for securities. Delivery of and payment for securities. These are two duties, two functions of a clearing corporation. And the third function is any other matter incidental to or connected with this above. Means clearing corporation is a company incorporated in the Companies Act, and its functions have a first function periodical settlement of contract and differences thereof, and delivery of and payment for securities and any other incidental matter, right? This is the clearing corporation. Why clearing corporation is required? The benefits of clearing corporation means a recognized stock exchange, means stock exchange having two houses, we already discussed, the recording house and the clearing house. If the clearing house function has been transferred to the clearing corporation, then the burden of the stock exchange will reduce, and it can control the business effectively, right? The recognized stock exchange will transfer the duties and functions of a clearing house to a clearing corporation. For this transfer of function of clearing house to clearing corporation of any other company, that prior approval of SEBI is required. Right? Prior approval of SEBI is required. And one more thing, the clearing corporation is a company, right? It has to make it bylaws and it has to submit to the SEBI for approval. SEBI may approve, SEBI may reject. The SEBI may approve if it is satisfied with that bylaws. It may reject in the interest of public interest or interest of trade. This is the clearing corporation. Right? And coming to our, there are two topics pending, that is powers and others. First we'll discuss others, then we'll go to the powers. And in powers we have trading floor, title of dividend, and composition of offences. We will discuss the trading floor, additional trading floor. Additional trading floor means the trading facility or trading ring offered by the recognized stock exchange outside the area of operations of recognized stock exchange to enable the investors to buy and sell securities through such trading floor. Right? Previously, the trading floor has no use now, I guess, because previously there used to be trading floors where the brokers will be there and will be shouting prices of the securities to buy, to sell, right? This is the additional trading floor. A trading rights or trading facility offered by the recognized stock exchange outside the area of operation of recognized stock exchange to enable the investors to buy or sell securities through the such trading floor. What are the conditions for this establishment trading floor? Same, the prior approval of SEBI is required, and the stock exchange shall comply the conditions as the SEBI may impose upon. This is the additional trading floor. Not much very important, but may be asked. Right, and coming to our next one, that is title of dividend. This is very one important section. Question may be expected this time. There are section 27. We will remove this particular thing with section 27, as the possibility of getting in exam is very high. Right, section 27, title of dividends. Title of dividends we will discuss in two categories. Right, registered holder, rights of registered holder, rights of transferee. First we will discuss the right of registered holder. Generally, the dividend will be declared by the company and will be given to the person whose name is registered in the register of shares. Right. The same thing has been said. Right of registered holder of security. The registered holder of security has the right to receive and retain any dividend declared by the company, even if he has already transferred such security for consideration. Means, if the registered holder has transferred his security for consideration, the registered holder name is in the register of shares. He is only eligible for to receive and retain the dividend declared by the company. Right. And the second point is rights of transferee. What are the rights of transferee? The registered holder of security shall have no right to retain the dividend if the transferee has lodged all the documents required for making the transfer of securities within 15 days of the date on which the dividend became due. Right? The shares have been transferred to the transferee, but the transferee name has not been registered with the register of names. Then what transferee can do to get the dividend? The transferee has to lodge a complaint, lodge a claim with all the documents proving that he has got the shares for after paying some consideration, that lodging of documents shall be done within 15 days of the date the dividend becoming due. Then in that case the right to get dividend will be in of transferee, right? Where the company has refused to register the transfer of shares in the name of the transferee, the transferee's rights against the transferor or any other person shall not be affected. If the company has refused to change the name of the registered holder to the transferee, then the rights of transferee against the transferor or any other person is not affected, right? And one important thing is there, that 15 days time period is there. In that 15 days time period, the following time period is not included. What is the time period? The extension is 3 conditions are there. In case of death of a transfer, the transferee has been died, and in case of loss of transfer deed, what is the transfer deed as the transfer deed has been lost. In case of delay due to the causes connected with the post, the transfer deed or some that application, all documents have been filed through post, there is some delay. First we'll see in case of death of transfer deed. What time period shall not be included in the 15 days? Actual period taken by the legal representative to establish his claim to be dividend. The legal representative will take some time, right, to get his that I am the legal representative and I am eligible for dividend. That time period, actual time period will be excluded from the 15 days. And in case of loss of transfer deed, actual period taken for replacement of transfer deeds will be excluded. In case of a delay due to post, the actual period for the delay in post will be excluded, right? And also, if the company shall not be liable where it has paid dividend to the registered holders of any security, right? And one more thing we have discussed only here with the dividend point of view, that a company, there are many cases, even the mutual funds will declare dividends, right? They will declare some bonus, they will declare some interest income, right? And collective investment schemes also will be there, they will also declare something. The same issue might have also been there. Thus the same mutandis rule will apply. Section 27 is for dividend, section 27 is for collective investment scheme, and section 27B is for mutual funds. Okay, and next one is the composition of offence. Time of making application. The application for compounding can be done at any time, whether before or during the prosecution. Means the composition means we have to reduce the liability penalty that we have. We will disclose all facts. Please reduce our liability or imprisonment. Like that is the composition of offences. The time for application of composition of offences is at any time, even before or while doing the prosecution. This is very important. Even before or during the prosecution, offences which can be component, means the following offences can be component. See, offences punishable with fine, offences which are punishable only with penalty, or offences punishable with fine or imprisonment, offences punishable with fine or imprisonment, or offences punishable with fine or imprisonment, or both. Here our condition is very important. If the offence is punishable with fine and penalty and imprisonment and both, then composition, that is not possible. Compounded is not compounding of offence is not possible, right? Compounding by whom? Who will compound the offence, right? An offence compounded under this act, I mean that is our SCRA act, shall be compounded by the SAT or the court before which the proceedings are pending, that is Securities Appellate Tribunal or the court which the proceedings is pending. And coming to our next point is penalties. The penalties in SEBI in SCRA are same as like SEBI, but we will discuss only one penalty, that is section 23 penalty. There are some points in section 23. One second. Right. For imposing penalty. The penalty amount is imprisonment is 10 years or with the fine which may extend to 25 crores or both. There are some A, B, E, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Some point is there. MCQ may be expected. Just go to that point. Right. Penalties, others is finished. And our one more topic pending is our powers. Powers of central government, powers of stock exchange, powers of SEBI. Right. Right. And next one is our powers. Powers we have central government, SEBI, and stock exchange. First we will discuss central government powers. The power first for is central government power of central government to supersede the governing body. Means the central government is empowered to supersede the governing body when central government, if thoughts has reason to believe, has opined, the central government must form an opinion that the governing body should be superseded. Central government shall serve a governing body the written notice that it is considering the supersession of the governing body, and notice to contain the reasons. What are the reasons for this supersession shall be sent to the governing body of stock exchange, and the opportunity of being heard shall be given to the governing body of the stock exchange. Then upon satisfaction reply of the stock exchange, even the central government is thought that the supersession is required, it can go for supersession. That is superseding the power of governing body. It can go for order, publication of order, that is official gazette, state government, central government, and right, the supersession becomes effective from date past of effect of publication of order. Overriding effect of order means supersession shall be valid notwithstanding anything contained contrary to any law for the time being in force. Effects of supersession. The members of governing body shall cease to hold their office with effect on the date of the official gazette, and the central government will appoint some members, 2 or no members. If two members are appointed, one is the chairman and one is chairperson. The powers and duties of functions are same as the governing body. Tenure will be as same fixed. The property of stock exchange will given till the supersession completes. The property of the stock exchange will go to the central government. That is, the persons operating on CG may specify the property of stock exchange which is necessary for the purpose of enabling him to carry the business of stock exchange. All such property vest in him with him as from the date of order made by such persons in his behalf. Right. The central government may order for reconstitution of the governing body, means that supersession is completed. Right. Order of reconstitution. Central government may at any time before determination period of office of any persons appointed by central government call upon stock exchange to reconstitute the governing body in accordance with the rules. What is the duty of the stock exchange in particular case? If the central government order for reconstitution, the stock exchange has to follow the central government order and it has to reconstitute the governing body. Effects of reconstitution. The property of the stock exchange shall revest with the governing body hands, and the persons appointed by the central government shall cease to operate. This is the point of power to supersede. Not very important there, because there is no grounds for supersession. Just opinion is enough. We have already discussed the supersession in SEBI, but there are some grounds, 4 grounds are there. You can listen to the previous audio. Right, and coming to that, our next power, the power of central government to suspend the business of stock exchange. This is very important. Suspend the business of stock exchange. And coming to the next one is power of central government to suspend the business of stock exchange. Conditions very important. If the central government has the power to suspend the business of stock exchange, when what are the condition? The central government must form an opinion. Here also opinion is there, but one condition is then the emergency has arisen and the purpose for meeting the emergency. It is expedient to suspend the business of stock exchange. Expedient means it is emergent. It is very essential. It is very that suspension shall be done as and now, immediately. Like in our Harshad Mehta scheme, at that time also the suspension of stock exchange has been done. Like that is one example, and so many cases suspension of stock exchange has been done. Right, and the publication order has to be passed, we all know, and reasons for suspension also shall be stated in the order. The terms and conditions for suspension. The suspension of such business shall be subject to such conditions as may be specified in the notification. The suspension of business shall be for such period not exceeding 7 days as may be specified in the notification. Means the suspension will be only for 7 days. It should not exceed 7 days. Even though it is 7 days, that central government can extend the period of suspension. Central government may extend the period of suspension from time to time by issuing fresh notification in the official gazette. The action may be ordered if the central government opinion that such action is required in the opinion of interest of public and interest of trade, and central government has given reasonable opportunity of being heard to the governing body of stock. That is our principle of natural justice. One important thing here is the 7 days, not exceeding 7 days. MCQ may be expected. Right. Suspension has been completed. Right, and next one is our power of central government or SEBI calling for periodical returns or directive inquiries. Right, this is very much similar to our SEBI chapter, but we will discuss as quick as possible. Right, thus, every stock exchange and shall furnish to the SEBI periodical returns to SEBI and periodical returns to SEBI and annual return to SEBI and central government. Every recurring stock exchange shall furnish central government with a copy of annual return, and such annual return shall be contained the particulars as may be prescribed. Periodical returns and annual return to SEBI and only annual return to central government, right? And furnishing information or explanation. The SEBI has power to call upon. SEBI has the power to call upon every recognized stock exchange, any member thereof, for furnishing written information for interest of trade or public interest. Maintenance of books of accounts. Every registered stock exchange and every member of the shall maintain books of accounts for the purpose of inquiry by SEBI central government, and such books shall be kept for 5 years. And here the books and documents of every member or recognized stock exchange shall be inspected by SEBI without notice. Here important point, it can be inspected by SEBI without notice and without reasons. It can go and inspect the books and documents and inquiry into the affairs of the stock exchange or any member. If the SEBI has the power to appoint for any person or more persons to make inquiry in the prescribed manner, the report of such inquiry shall be submitted to the SEBI after completion of the inquiry. The inquiry shall be based on the affairs of the governing body, affairs of the members of the recognized stock exchange. Also, SEBI is empowered to direct the governing body to make inquiry into the affairs of the members of stock exchange and submit the report to the SEBI. Right? The inquiry has been done. Inquiry report has been submitted to SEBI, and SEBI now has to take actions. The SEBI is empowered to take appropriate action as a result of inquiry. It may be direct the governing body of stock exchange to take disciplinary action as in directed by SEBI. Right? Such direction may if the inquiry has been submitted and the inquiry is about members, the SEBI will direct the governing body of recognized to take action. Such direction shall be imposing of fine, expulsion of members, suspension of membership, or any other penalty of like nature on such directors of SEBI. The governing body shall give effect to the direction of notwithstanding it anything contained. Means the SEBI order is final. The governing body shall not reverse or modify any action taken in pursuance of directions without prior approval of SEBI. Means the SEBI has given some direction, the central government has passed the directions, and the central government after some time cannot reverse without prior approval of the SEBI. And next one is protection of books of record for conditioning of information. That is production of books. Whenever the inquiry inspection is going on, the following persons has to produce the books of accounts to the relevant officers of the SEBI as possible. Every director, manager, secretary of the recognized stock exchange, every member of the stock exchange. If the member of stock exchange is a firm, every partner, manager, secretary of the firm, and every other person or body persons who have dealings with the above ABC3, directly or indirectly. Means there are four persons are there. Every director, manager, secretary of the stock exchange, every member of the stock exchange, if a member is a partner, manager, secretary of the stock exchange, every other person or body of persons who has dealings with the above three. Right. Next, the powers of central government has been completed. We will go to the powers of stock exchange. Right. And coming to the powers of stock exchange, there are two powers of stock exchange. Powers of stock exchange to make or amend the rules, and this section 7A. Powers of stock exchange to make bylaws. Recognized stock exchange. And coming to our first thing, conditions for making the amending the rules, that is making or amending the rules, that is section 7A. Prior approval of central government is required in this case, and rules will be published in official gazette, and the rules will become effectively only if they are published in official gazette. Prior approval of central government is required, and the scope of rules means the rules may contain all or any of the following provisions. What are the rules that the stock exchange can amend? There are make the rules. There are on the basis of the four rules, right? What are the four rules? Voting rights shall be available only to the members in the respect of any manner placed on before the stock at any meeting. Means here the meeting of stock exchange will be held in that the members has the right to vote, and the voting right will be only restricted to the members. That is the one rule that can be amended or make the rule by the stock exchange. And second rule is every member shall have only one vote. Irrespective of the respect of the shareholding, every member shall have only one vote in the recognized stock exchange. That is the second rule. It can make, act or it can amend, and the member shall not be allowed to attend or vote by proxy. This is important. A question has already been asked in this particular thing. The proxy, a member shall not be allowed to attend or vote by proxy. Means the stock exchange can make a rule that the member of stock exchange shall not be allowed to vote or attend by proxy by meeting. Means member of stock exchange has to attend in person, and he only has to encourage his vote. If this rule has been made by the stock exchange, made restriction on this. And fourth point is any other incidental, consequential, supplementary matters. Right? What are the 4 points? Voting rights to the members, and only one voting member, and proxy cannot be done. Right? And fourth one is incidental. These rules can have overriding effect of the entire Companies Act. Right? That is one more important point. And coming to our section 9, power of recognized stock exchange to make rules, to make bylaws. Here, there 7A is made, amend or make rules. Here, bylaws. Both are similar, but there have been different sections given. We will discuss conditions of making bylaws. The bylaws shall be subject to the conditions in the record previous publication. If any previous publication has been made in this condition, the bylaws shall be subject to that previous publication. Right? SEBI, if it is satisfied that the bylaws should be made immediately, dispense with the condition of previous publication. Means SEBI has the power. SEBI has the power to dispense the previous publication and can make the bylaws immediately if it is interest of the trade, interest of public interest. Here, to make the bylaws, prior approval of SEBI is required. The bylaws shall be in official gazette and effective only from the date of publication in the official gazette. General matters. The bylaws generally specify the various matters for the purpose of regulation and control of contracts. This is very important. Why the bylaws? Regulation and control of contracts. Special bylaws. The bylaws may specify that in case of contravention of certain specified bylaws, the contract shall be void if the entered into the notified state or section 13, or it is entered into the contravention of such bylaws. Right? The bylaws may contain certain special bylaws. If any contract has entered in the certain notified area, or if any contract has entered contravening the bylaws, then that contract is void. Special bylaws. The bylaws may specify that in case of contravention of certain specified bylaws, the member shall be liable to fine, suspension, expulsion, and other similar penalties. Right? Stock exchange is completed. Next one is power of SEBI to make or amend bylaws. SEBI can exercise its powers under section 10 suo motu, or where a request is in writing is made by the stock exchange to make or amend the bylaws. Means SEBI can make or amend the bylaws on its own, or it can go for amending the bylaws on request from stock exchange. Right? Conditions for making the amending bylaws. What are the conditions? Right? We will see the conditions for making the amendment of bylaws by the SEBI. It is the power of SEBI. the grounds are as simple as that. The SEBI has to consider the governing body before making the bylaws, and SEBI shall think that it is necessary and expedient to do so, and the reasons for amending the bylaws shall also be stated, and the bylaws shall be subject to the previous publication. We already discussed in our previous making bylaws of stock exchange, and there is an exception also. SEBI may thinks that the bylaws shall be able to immediately in public interest or interest of trade. It can dispense the previous publication condition, right? The publication, the bylaws so made will be published in the official gazette. The effect only from the date of publication of official gazette. And there is one more important objection is the objection with the central governing body, where SEBI makes an amendment bylaws of the stock exchange suo moto. Suo moto means without consulting on its own. The governing body may object to it within 2 months of the publication of official gazette. Means here the SEBI has make amend rules bylaws on suo moto, and it has published in official gazette, and then the governing body has a time period of 2 months on the publication of official gazette for objection. After getting objections from the governing body, the SEBI considers these objections and may revise these bylaws, and the bylaws shall become effective from the date of publication in official gazette. Right? This is the power of SEBI to make amendment rules. Right? These rules are not that much important, but may be expected, right? And next, our last point, power to central government to make or amend the rules. Same thing. The central government has power to direct the recurring stock exchange generally or any particular stock exchange to make rules. Right? It can give directions. Section 2 amend rules already. What are the conditions are there? The central government can make such order only if the conditions are satisfied. Same like SEBI, the central government has to consult with the governing body before making the rules, and also it is necessary and expedient to do so. It shall mention the reasons, same like SEBI. And compliance, it shall be duties of the recognized stock exchange to make or amend the rules within 2 months from the date of order of the CG. The CG will not make rules. The CG will direct the recognized stock exchange. Here the CG will not make the rules. The CG will give direction to the recognized stock exchange to make the rules. The central government will direct the recognized stock exchange to make or amend the rules. Then the recognized stock exchange has 2 months time period from the date of order to make or amend the rules. If within 2 months the stock exchange has not amended or has not made the rules as per the directions of the central government, then if any recognized stock exchange fails or neglects to complete the order of the CG within 2 months, then CG make amended rules. CG itself will make amended rules. Publication in official gazette effective in the date of publication of order. Effects of rules. The rules made and amended by persons of Senate shall have effect as if they are made amended by the stock exchange itself. Rules shall override the Companies Act. Right? The same rules we have already discussed in our it can override the Companies Act. This is all about SCRA 1956 and rules 1957. Right.